So, how do you manage money in a business and actually keep a profit? Not something that's just on the bottom line of a net income statement, but actually have cash in the bank by the end of the year. It's one of the biggest questions that we get, and I wanted to take some time to just walk you through it. Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose. Make sure to go check us out, mybusinessonpurpose.com/roadmap. We've got a powerfully interactive roadmap for you to be able to go through, and even if you're a DIYer from a business owner, be able to go through that and understand the different elements that every single business must take into account as you're building your business. So let's dive into this, how to manage money in a business and actually keep a profit. Because in business, money is constantly moving. It's never static. And a cash flow statement is really a bit counterproductive if you think about it. As the cash flows, we can see trends and movements, but the moment we snapshot the flow of cash into a static cash flow statement, the cash stops flowing. Taking a snapshot of a rushing river means the river is no longer rushing. It's still at that point. So you can clearly see the river, the level, the color, and the shape. You can even sort of believe it's rushing, but the rushingness of the river is lost in the stillness of the snapshot. The mass publishing of the now infamous story of Chris McCandless, documented in John Krakauer's book In the Wild, has led to a surge in the number of Me Too explorers who wish to track McCandless's fateful footsteps as he slept in that bus up in Alaska. And to reach the famed bus that I'm talking about, McCandless, he made his home there. Explorers have to trek through and cross the Teklanika River. After safely crossing that river, many inexperienced explorers fail to take into account that rivers trough and they crest, often at very unpredictable times, leading to many of these post-McCandless explorers stranded in need of rescue, or in some cases, just left for dead. The metaphor is not much different in the trough and the cresting of cash in your business. With a little preparation, you can begin to have greater insight into the reality of the future tides of the river of your business. See, static financial statements and reports, they're very valuable, including the cash flow statement, and yet they can still be of only momentary help to a business owner who lives in a dynamic and constantly moving world, back and forth. The statements and the reports themselves need a means of tracking the flow and the peaks and the troughs and the standard deviation of that volatility so that we can make point-in-time decisions in the midst of a constantly flowing market. The owner is looking to create proximity to motivate a team to pursue the vision, so you must be able to cut through the financial fog and pay attention to reliable instruments that are always calibrated within the values of a business. Just like an airplane cockpit, the pilot maintains a panoramic view of the horizon, the vision, and the owner must also build in the panoramic view by which to build and to view the financial health of the business that's tracked with the RPMs of great leadership: repetition, predictability, and meaning. So there's 3 tools that'll help aid you, the owner, in having such a panoramic view, past, present, and future. First is the well-tested profit and loss statement. Oh yes, the P&L. It provides a still shot of what has been, with one major caveat. The data you retrieve from the P&L is only as helpful as the data that's been put into the P&L. The profit and loss statement helps you to understand your cost of goods sold, which in turn immediately helps you to understand what Mike Michalowicz calls your real revenue. It's not your total revenue. It's the total revenue minus the expenses that you have to pay for the materials to be able to provide your product. So your cost of goods sold is a number that theoretically goes away if sales go to zero. Now, everything below that cost of goods line would continue as is: your rent, your internet, phones, etc. And it gives you a great snapshot into your other expenses or overhead. So a great monthly exercise is to simply march down the P&L and see if any of the percentage numbers have changed from month to month or quarter to quarter, year over year. So it's a nice, simple look back. It's a past look into the performance of your business. The net income number on the bottom of that P&L is nice, but let's be very clear. It's not an actual reflection of how much cash remains in the business today. It drives me crazy when somebody says, "Hey, congratulations, you made X in net income." Well, your net income seems to be more advantageous regarding your taxes than it does in showing your actual cash profitability, the funds you really have access to. You can't take your P&L to the bank and ask to withdraw your net income number. I know it's silly to say, but that's how many think of the net income number. It's an actual dollar figure, and it's not. Your P&L is a more value of past actuals related to income, real revenue, cost, expenses. It's the history less for your business. For the present, merging two ideas has been of significant value to so many business owners, making that pivot to ownership. The first of those two is the subdivision of cash entering into the business. When a dollar comes in, that dollar should be physically subdivided into separate accounts or expense homes where you are able to see what cash is actually available to the business for real-time decisions. See, you might begin to feel a draw to defend the balance sheet or the cash flow statement or the simple spreadsheet as a means to do the trick. Well, I don't need to cut the dollar up and ship it to different homes. I can just do that on a spreadsheet. Here's the problem. Most business owners, well, heck, most accounting professionals struggle to keep up with the daily tracking of cash on a spreadsheet. Also, the balance sheet or the cash flow statements are static. They're not following the flow of cash, different meaning than a cash flow statement. When the cash is subdivided into multiple bank accounts, the decision-making for the executive leader and the owner has a much faster turnaround because whatever is in the account is what we've got to work with, period. I don't care what's on the sheet of paper. It's what's in the bank account. Each week, a team member documents the balances of those multiple accounts and begins to watch the peaks, the troughs, the ups and the downs and the deviations. And sure, you can always log into your bank account, your QuickBooks, to check today's cash balances. But what about watching those balances at hundreds of waypoints over the months and the years and the weeks to see those trends? So the Level 2 dashboard is a tool. You're like, well, wait a second, what's the Level 1? That's your online subdivided bank accounts is Level 1. Now, your Level 2 is a tool, simple spreadsheet that we've built that requires about 5 to 10 minutes of work each week and provides hours of time saved and in most cases, a retention of money earned without losing it to the thief of leakage. The more you have access to, the more you're prone to leak, and the more it's in one bank account, definitely the more it's going to leak. So the Level 2 dashboard also has options to track receivables, near-term payables, and sort of a water level number called the all-in, all-out number. This number, what it does is it gives answer to the question of, well, if we grabbed all of our available cash, grabbed our receivables, what we're owed, then paid all of our taxable liabilities and paid our near-term payables, then this is the money that the business should have access to. The goal of the all-in, all-out is not to get stuck in 1 week's worth of data, but instead to watch that flow of number over time and determine what an appropriate water level of your business might be. The profit and loss will educate you on the past. The subdivided bank accounts and the Level 2 dashboard will educate you on the present. But the future can be planned by building a simple budget, ironically, based on your past P&Ls. So a simple and well-built budget will take a forward-gazing future look towards the vision of the business. What good is a budget if it's being spent on items that are steering the business away from the vision or in a haphazard direction? A budget will have line items and categorized for things that will push you and the business towards the vision. If a line does not align with a healthy vision, then that line item is simply removed from the budget or it's adjusted. A simple and well-built budget will take a past, backward-gazing look historically towards the previous spending, and then it will put it in a future-looking perspective. So starting a budget from scratch without looking at prior spending is akin to sort of an amnesia-riddled pilot learning how to fly a plane every time she climbs into the cockpit. It's not a plane you definitely want to be on. So we don't want to do the budget that way. We want to look back so that we can create something forward. And so what you should do is block the time, maybe no more than 1 to 2 hours to sit, review your vision, review your previous profit and loss reports, project what you think you might need in each category in order to hit your near-term goals and your long-term vision. So the owner will begin to make proximity towards the past profit and loss, the present subdivided bank accounts and Level 2 dashboards, and the future simple annual budget. It's a constant awareness of your triangulated financial position, past, present, future, will allow you to offer rapid motivation that emboldens your team to pursue the named future you see. I know it's a lot. If you need help, make sure to go to mybusinessonpurpose.com/contact. Reach out to us. We can walk you through some elements that I think might be helpful. Or if you go to our roadmap, it's interactive, mybusinessonpurpose.com/roadmap. And there's a couple of modules there to help you with the budget and the profit and loss, or the bank accounts, and also the level 2 dashboard. So you can check that out there. mybusinessonpurpose.com/roadmap.